1번부터 17번까지입니다. 방송을 잘 듣고 문제지에 있는 5개의 답지 중에서 맞는 답 하나만 골라 답안지에 해당 란에 바르게 표기하십시오. 듣기 평가는 타정 없이 시작됩니다. 이제 문제지 표지를 넘기시기 바랍니다. 그러면 지금부터 3교시 영어 영역 듣기 평가를 시작하겠습니다. 1번부터 17번까지는 듣고 답하는 문제입니다. 1번부터 15번까지는 한 번만 들려주고 16번부터 17번까지는 2번 들려줍니다. 방송을 잘 듣고 답을 하시기 바랍니다. (1번) 다음을 듣고 남자가 하는 말의 목적으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Good afternoon, Grand High School students. This is Mr. Owen, your vice principal. Our school's dance competition is next Friday. So, I want to ask all dance teams to check their performance schedule for the competition. We have a very tight schedule since there'll be more than 15 teams, and we need to finish the competition by 5 p.m. The performance schedule will be posted tomorrow morning on the auditorium's door. Once again, don't forget that all dance teams should check the performance schedule. Thank you for your cooperation.
(2번) 대화를 듣고 여자의 의견으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Amy, your workspace looks so different.
Does it? I just put some familiar stuff like family photos and postcards from my travels on my desk.
They really look nice.
You know what? I think having familiar things around makes us feel more comfortable.
Really? I usually don't put any familiar stuff on my desk because I don't think it would shift my feelings.
When I'm stressed, I feel relaxed at the sight of my family photo on the desk.
That's interesting.
If you try to look at something familiar, you'll feel more comfortable.
I guess you're probably right.
I do think you'll feel relaxed when you have those familiar things around you.
I see. I should try it.
You definitely should.
(3번) 다음을 듣고 남자가 하는 말의 요지로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hey everyone, it's Kevin Allen from K Allen Channel. Do you ever endlessly watch multiple TV episodes in one sitting by yourself? Even though everyone needs time alone, I strongly believe that spending time together with friends makes life more meaningful. Think back to when you tried a new restaurant with friends or had an unplanned adventure with them. Those shared meaningful experiences don't just create wonderful memories. They also strengthen your bonds with your friends and provide support when you try something new. As you plan the week ahead, make sure to meet friends and create meaningful moments together. Remember, every person needs these connections to feel fulfilled.
(4번) 대화를 듣고 그림에서 대화의 내용과 일치하지 않는 것을 고르시오.
Honey, look at this photo. It's from a trip with my dad when I was a child.
Can I see it more closely?
Sure. Do you see the palm tree on the beach?
It's really beautiful. Wow, there are also 2 boats.
Yeah, they look nice on the water.
Oh, there's a man wearing sunglasses.
That's my dad. He seems to be enjoying the weather.
I recognize the girl in the heart-patterned tube.
Right, that's me. I was in the tube most of the day.
It looks like you had fun. By the way, is that a ball on the chair?
Yes, my dad and I played with the ball from time to time.
You know, we should go there with our children.
(5번) 대화를 듣고 남자가 할 일로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hey, Mr. Davidson. Runner's Day is going well, isn't it?
Definitely, Ms. Clark. I set up the race lines this morning, and I also handed out water bottles.
Wow, you've been busy. I helped with the warm-up stretches.
That's great. Earlier, I noticed some students were unsure about where to go.
I saw that as well, so I guided them to their event areas.
That was really thoughtful of you.
Thanks. Then, are you all done with everything?
Not yet. I'll announce the winners for the running events later this afternoon.
Oh, you're the one who will call out the winners' names after each race?
Yep. I've practiced the runners' names. I really don't want to mess up in front of everyone.
I'm sure everything will go smoothly.
I hope so too.
(6번) 대화를 듣고 여자가 지불할 금액을 고르시오.
Hello, how may I help you?
Hi, I'm looking for cleaning supplies.
Well, we have glass cleaner, paper towels, and more over here.
I need glass cleaner and paper towels. How much are they?
A bottle of glass cleaner is $5, but the price of paper towels depends on the type.
I need 2 bottles of glass cleaner. What types of paper towels do you have?
A pack of reusable ones is $30, and a pack of regular ones is $20.
Okay, I need 1 pack of reusable paper towels.
Good. You want 2 bottles of glass cleaner and 1 pack of reusable paper towels, right?
Yes. Can I use a coupon that I got online?
Let me see. Yes, you get $3 off the total.
Great. Here's my credit card.
(7번) 대화를 듣고 남자가 올드리지 퍼레이드에 갈 수 없는 이유를 고르시오.
Hey, The Old Ridge Parade is this afternoon. It's going to be so cool, with music, costumes, and giant balloons. Want to come with me?
I'd love to, but I can't make it today.
Really? Are you feeling sick? You looked tired yesterday.
No, I'm fine.
Then is it because of your part-time job?
Actually, I have the day off.
I see. Oh, you haven't finished your essay for the writing class, have you?
It's nothing like that. I already finished it.
Can you tell me what's going on?
I promised my little brother I'd help him with his homework this afternoon.
That's really nice of you. I'll take a lot of photos and send them to you later.
Thanks. Let's go together next time.
(8번) 대화를 듣고 북툰 워크숍에 관해 언급되지 않은 것을 고르시오.
Dad, could you look at this flyer?
Oh, it's about the BookTune workshop.
Yes, I've been really into creating my own stories and illustrating them, but I'd like to learn more.
All right. Where's the workshop taking place?
It's at the Sunville's Art Gallery. We've been there many times.
Yes, I know that place. The workshop provides classes on developing multiple characters and drawing action scenes. You must be very interested.
I am. It also has special lectures by invited speakers. One of them is Natalie Moody's, my favorite artist.
Oh, I've heard you mention her before.
Right. You know, there are only 15 spots open for each class, and the registration deadline is June 9th.
There's not much time left. Let's get you registered right away.
Dad, you're the best.
(9번) 2025 썸머 프리히스토릭 라이프 캠프에 관한 다음 내용을 듣고 일치하지 않는 것을 고르시오.
Good morning, students and parents. I'd like to tell you about the 2025 Summer Prehistoric Life Camp. This is an exciting opportunity for students from ages 14 to 17 to experience the lives of prehistoric people. The camp will run for 2 days, from July 24th to July 25th at the Green Hill Mountain Campground. Participants will experience fun activities like dressing as prehistoric people and practicing hunting and gathering skills. In addition, they'll learn how to craft prehistoric tools and pottery. Participants need to bring their personal items but not camping equipment. The registration fee is $100 and is not refundable. Sign up today for an incredible trip to the past.
(10번) 다음 표를 보면서 대화를 듣고 남자가 구입할 베트남어 학습 앱을 고르시오.
Hi, Tim. What are you up to these days?
I'm planning to go to Vietnam for a business trip this fall.
Awesome. I guess you need to know Vietnamese.
That's right. So I've been looking for a language learning app for Vietnamese. Can you help me?
Of course. Let me see. What's your budget?
I'd like to keep it under $20 a month.
That's reasonable. How's your Vietnamese?
Well, it's not great. So the advanced level isn't right for me.
Okay. What do you want to focus on when learning the language?
Since this is my first trip there, I need to learn a lot of new vocabulary.
All right. So you have 2 options left that would work.
Which one do you think is better?
Because you're a businessman, I think the app that uses newspapers would be a great choice.
I agree. I'll go with that one. Thanks for helping me choose.
(11번) 대화를 듣고 남자의 마지막 말에 대한 여자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Ms. Baker, it's a beautiful day. Could our class go outside today to take a group photo with you after class?
Good idea, Harry. Why don't you ask everyone in the class if they all want to take a picture?
Actually, I already did, and they all said yes.
(12번) 대화를 듣고 여자의 마지막 말에 대한 남자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
James, you're still coughing. Did you take your medicine?
Yes, Mom. I took it after breakfast, and I've been feeling a bit better since then.
Good. But don't forget to take the medicine twice a day, as the doctor said.
(13번) 대화를 듣고 남자의 마지막 말에 대한 여자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hello, Rachel. What's up?
Hi, Benjamin. Are you going to Oscar's birthday party this Sunday?
Absolutely. How about you?
Of course. By the way, did you buy a birthday gift for him?
Not yet. I have no idea what he wants.
Me neither. Do you want to get him a gift together?
Yes, that's perfect. Do you know what he might like?
Honestly, I have no clue. All I know is that he likes coffee.
Oh, I think it'll be good if we buy him a bag of coffee beans.
Yeah, but we don't know what kind of beans he likes.
Then why don't we get him a gift card for a cafe? That way, he can use it for whatever he wants.
(14번) 대화를 듣고 여자의 마지막 말에 대한 남자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hi, Will. You seem worried. What's wrong?
Hey, Kate. The student council meeting is tomorrow. I'm a little nervous because it's my first meeting as the school president.
Don't worry too much. You'll do just fine.
You did a great job as the school president last year, so I'm wondering if you can help me review what to do.
Sure. The first thing you'll do is start the meeting with a greeting.
You're right. And then I'll introduce myself.
Okay. After that, you should outline your vision for the year.
Sounds good. Next, I'll go over the plans for the semester.
So far, so good. You also need to lead the discussion about the topics for the meeting.
That's everything, isn't it?
Just one more thing. Be sure to thank everyone for their participation.
(15번) 다음 상황 설명을 듣고 스티븐이 애나에게 할 말로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Stephen and Anna are teachers in charge of their school library. They're making a list of books to buy for the upcoming school year. Anna wants to include only classic literature and nonfiction books recommended by experts in the field of education. However, after talking with students, Stephen realizes that students love science fiction and fantasy books that are not on the list. He thinks students will be happier and read more if the library has science fiction and fantasy books. So, Stephen wants to suggest to Anna that on their list they should include the books students are interested in. In this situation, what would Stephen most likely say to Anna?
(16번부터 17번까지는 2번 들려줍니다. 16번과 17번 다음을 듣고 물음에 답하시오.
Hello, everyone. Today, we'll start by discussing how different countries are working to reduce carbon emissions. As you might know, Sweden was the first country to introduce carbon pricing and had the highest carbon tax in the world in 2023. The country is aiming to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 59% by 2030 compared with 2005. Also, Denmark is working to source at least half of its energy needs from renewables by 2030. The country's energy mix has diversified to include more biofuels, wind, and solar generation. Next, Hungary plans to generate 90% of its energy from carbon-free sources by 2030. Part of this plan includes financial support for the purchase of zero-emission vehicles and a huge increase of solar power. Lastly, France is aiming to achieve a net zero carbon economy by 2050. The country is reducing its reliance on fossil fuels and investing in renewables. These countries' efforts to lower carbon emissions are clearly standing out. After a short break, we'll explore the world's biggest carbon polluters.
다시 한번 듣겠습니다.
Hello, everyone. Today, we'll start by discussing how different countries are working to reduce carbon emissions. As you might know, Sweden was the first country to introduce carbon pricing and had the highest carbon tax in the world in 2023. The country is aiming to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 59% by 2030 compared with 2005. Also, Denmark is working to source at least half of its energy needs from renewables by 2030. The country's energy mix has diversified to include more biofuels, wind, and solar generation. Next, Hungary plans to generate 90% of its energy from carbon-free sources by 2030. Part of this plan includes financial support for the purchase of zero-emission vehicles and a huge increase of solar power. Lastly, France is aiming to achieve a net zero carbon economy by 2050. The country is reducing its reliance on fossil fuels and investing in renewables. These countries' efforts to lower carbon emissions are clearly standing out. After a short break, we'll explore the world's biggest carbon polluters.
16번. 여자가 하는 말의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은? (17번) 언급된 나라가 아닌 것은? 이제 듣기 문제가 끝났습니다. 18번부터는 문제지의 지시에 따라 답을 하시기 바랍니다.
Hanek-inspired cultural product contest. Explore your creativity by designing practical products. Theme: The beauty of Hanek. Applicants: artists and social enterprises. Benefit: selected products will be sold in Hanek Village souvenir shops. Schedule when what to do application June 10th. 15 Download the application form from our website and upload a completed one. Product submission July 14th. 18 Bring the product in person to our office and do not send it by post. Selection announcement July 28. Check the results on our website. For more information, including selection methods, please visit our website www.pre*serve*h.kr. 2025 Science Gamification Challenge. Learn science through games at Evernville Science Park. Participants ages 8, 13. Date and time, June 7th, 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Guidelines. Download the game map from the website. Start the first mission at the main gate. Complete each mission using your knowledge of science. Go back to the main gate after you complete all 5 missions. Reservation: online reservation is required. Participation fee, $20, lunch not included. Note: only the first participant who completes all 5 missions will receive a medal. For more information, please visit www.*s*gcstar.com. Mary Budrow was best known for her achievements in science education. When she was a middle school student, she met Albert Einstein and was inspired by him to study science. In 1954, she graduated from the University of California at Berkeley with a master's degree in zoology. Then she earned her doctorate degree in science education from Stanford University in 1964. Through her research, Rowe discovered that learning could be improved by increasing teachers' average wait time for students' responses. During her career, she directed a science education program in Harlem. She also served as president of the National Science Teachers Association. In 1990, she published her book, The Process of Knowing. Throughout her career, she practiced Einstein's advice: science is exploring, and exploring is fun. When she died in 1996, she was remembered as one of the leading figures in the field of science education. The graph above shows trends in adult participation in education and training in 5 OECD countries in 2016 and 2022. Among these countries, the percentage of adults in the Netherlands who participated in education and training was the highest in each year listed in the graph. In Germany, the percentage of adults who participated in education and training in 2022 was higher than that in 2016. In 2022, the percentage of adults who participated in education and training was lower in Spain than in Germany. In Italy, the percentage of adults who participated in education and training in 2016 was lower than that in 2022. In each year listed, the percentage of adults in Greece who participated in education and training was less than 20%. To whom it may concern, I recently visited the Lambsford History Foundation's exhibition about the Kuchen Gold Rush. The collection of pictures, tools, and historical documents made the gold miners arriving to Kuchen come to life. This reminded me of when I lived in Kuchen and worked in the mining industry. Because of this, I'm wondering if there are volunteer guide positions available for this exhibition. I can share my experiences working in the extreme cold of Kuchen. Again, I would be thankful if you could tell me about the availability of volunteer positions as a guide. Sincerely, Jonathan Hamilton. The shoreline was known for having the best fishing spots on the lake. Jessie was sitting at one of those spots, but her fishing line still hadn't moved an inch. With a deep sigh, Jessie pulled out the line and cast it back into the water. Her dream of catching a big fish was fading. I can't believe I haven't caught a fish yet. Not a single one, she thought. Just as she was about to give up and leave, the fishing line suddenly became tense. Jessie excitedly held onto the fishing pole as it began to move around wildly. Her eyes widened and her heart began to beat faster with excitement. With a big smile, she could feel that this was the biggest fish she had ever caught. 1. Disappointed, thrilled. 2. Indifferent, discouraged. 3. Jealous, anxious. 4. Delighted, bored. 5. Relieved, pleased. Our ability to respond to danger has been important for survival, so feeling worried in uncertain situations is normal. Feelings of worry, which are activated in anticipation of future events, are often experienced in everyday situations. For example, we may feel nervous imagining unlikely events, such as a computer crashing during an important presentation. To some extent, thinking through potential scenarios can be helpful. When our worries exceed our control, however, they cause us unnecessary suffering. Consider how many times you have lost sleep thinking about a terrible situation, which, in the end, did not actually take place. If that situation actually occurred, it only goes to show that worrying about it did nothing to prevent it from happening. It is worth making a conscious effort, then, to stop worrying endlessly about events you may not experience. Information and meaning are, clearly, not the same thing. The former refers to uninterpreted data or sensory states whose probability in a certain situation can be easily measured. The latter refers to the interpretation of the data or sensory states, including the special kinds of nuances and values that the information entails, or is intended to have, in the given situation. This applies to any type of information, from alarm signals to sophisticated statements. Take, for instance, a coin-tossing game in which it is decided that throwing 3 heads in a row constitutes a win. If a certain player ends up consistently with the desired outcome, defeating all who challenge that player, then we tend to interpret the outcome either as the work of fortune, or else as clever and undetectable cheating on the part of the winning player. Interpretation is at the core of everything we do, think about, and feel. The purpose of class discussions is to encourage you to be an active participant, not a passive recorder. Much of the emphasis in a discussion is on getting students involved in thinking, reacting, and responding. These are important intellectual activities in the learning process, for through them you are supposed to discover and express your opinions. Writing is an invaluable tool for accomplishing these tasks. Unfortunately, too many times, when class discussion begins, pens and pencils go down. Admittedly, it is considerably more difficult to take notes from discussions than from lectures, for, unlike lectures, discussions tend to be disorganized and difficult to follow. Also, students usually don't know how much of what other students are saying is important. And if you are an active participant, it is not easy to take notes and formulate what you want to say. But note-taking in discussions is not only manageable, it is also important. Note-taking helps to keep you active and alert, it allows you to impose some organization on the discussion, and it can prepare you to speak. 1. Reasons to standardize procedures for class discussions. 2. Strategies to improve note-taking skills for public speaking. 3. Significance of note-taking for active engagement in discussion. 4. Effectiveness of summarizing and reviewing notes after class. 5. Benefits of brainstorming to generate ideas for writing tasks. Food, as we all know, is essential for human life. It also is the basis for several major industries found in many countries around the world, such as in agriculture, food processing, food retailing, and food service. For millennia, the focus of those involved with food as a human and economic phenomenon was on its production, preservation, distribution, pricing, and other practical concerns. But in the late 18th century this began to change. Food became more than just a life necessity. Restaurants began to be developed, initially in France but eventually in other nations, as a distinct institution offering people dining choices and table service, the opportunity for socialization and, over time, a finer and finer atmosphere. The rise of restaurants eventually led to a class of diners who prided themselves on being critics of taste, food, and cooking. Brillat-Savarin is probably the best known of the culinary philosophers, or, in today's parlance, a foodie. One of Brillat-Savarin's better-known sayings was, "Tell me what you eat, and I'll tell you who you are." 1. Changing appetites, the return of fine dining. 2. Beyond mere necessity, the rise of food culture. 3. Tips for choosing restaurants for social occasions. 4. Why table manners matter, food and class identity. 5. How industrialization is taking over food production. In technological design, an aspiration towards seamlessness aims to make the technological experience for humans blend seamlessly into our everyday lives. Essentially, this aspiration aims towards experiences where people are no longer aware of the technology, the interface, or the differences between human technology and human-human interaction. Considering the metaphor of seams in clothing, we can say that we aspire to seamless aesthetics by stitching the seams closely, pressing them flat and making sure they are hidden on the inside so that we wear clothing rather than pieces of fabric. When designers and engineers talk about technological seamlessness, they are often referring to ease of use and convenience. For example, in interface design, an aspiration towards seamlessness ensures the experience for the user flows and is not stressful or irritating. Most of us would have had experiences of poor interface designs or apps in workplaces that make things more complicated and irritating, and have longed for more seamless interfaces. Technological seamlessness can also include less visible screens in new technologies, or virtual reality technologies with a seamless technological design. The aim is to immerse the user experience such that the visual interaction might be described as inside the screen rather than a body interacting with a digital console or object as separate entities. Similarly, seamlessness in humanoid robotic design aims to make humanoids distinguishable from a human body. 1. Blending in, when tech stops feeling like tech. 2. Digital interfaces are becoming too complicated. 3. Out-of-body experience, a history of virtual reality. 4. How software designs affect work productivity. 5. Wearable technology in contemporary fashion. Part A. Hi. I'm over here, shouted Laura, waving brightly at Kathy at the entrance of Darlingdale Farmers Market. Seeing her friend, Kathy rushed over in delight. Kathy had recently moved into Laura's town, and this was going to be her first experience at a real farmer's market. Born and raised in a big city, where large supermarkets were more common, Kathy had never had a chance to buy freshly picked fruits or vegetables. Part B. Carrying the bags of peaches, Kathy came back and noticed Laura holding a box of blueberries and jars of jam. Kathy, those peaches look delicious. I bought some blueberries. Would you like to go to my place and make blueberry pancakes together? Laura asked. Yes, that's an excellent idea, replied Kathy happily. As they walked out of the market, Kathy thanked her friend for the special experience, saying, I really love this place. Thank you for the wonderful day. Part C. Entering the market, Laura said, Let me show you around. Are you ready? Kathy answered excitedly, Absolutely. I'm going to buy some fresh peaches. The market was already crowded with people of all ages. Kathy, you can taste the best of the season here, said Laura. Kathy smiled and began to look around. Meanwhile, curious to explore more, Kathy said, While you're buying jam, I'll look around the market and get some peaches. Part D. Wandering away from Laura, Kathy began to search for peaches. Kathy walked past booths of fresh flowers and handmade soaps, which smelled heavenly. From a fruit stand, she picked out some beautiful, ripe peaches. The fruit seller told her, Those peaches are a great choice because they're only here until this week. If you miss them now, you'll have to wait another year for the season. Hearing that, Kathy said, Oh, I'll get some more then. They're really cheap. She bought 2 bags of peaches. Basing your self-worth on climbing performance puts you at the whim of external factors. These factors may be random and misleading. Comparison is one source of illusion. Perhaps you felt that you performed well on a certain climb because your partner was having an off day and found the climbing very difficult. You found it only slightly difficult and conclude that you were climbing quite well, when in fact you were climbing no better than usual. Or, your partner was at the top of his game. You felt weak in comparison, when in fact, objectively, you put in a very strong performance. Environmental factors may be involved. Perhaps you mastered your day's objective due to especially favorable conditions, such as low humidity, when in fact, you really didn't climb particularly well. In all these cases, the good or bad feelings you have are not based on something you can take credit for. If the performances boost your self-worth, the boost is grounded in fiction. 1. Perceptions of self-growth vary from person to person. 2. Your self-confidence is an outcome of constant effort. 3. The pride you take in your achievement is unreliable. 4. Performance comparison to partners is demotivating. 5. Ambitious goals help you improve performance. Changes in the degree of closeness are quite important in managing emotional intensity. Take, for example, emotions induced by television. Closeness and familiarity are important in making the fictional environment more real. Accordingly, most TV shows are set in the present or in a time within the memory of the viewers. Most characters are supposed to be types with whom we are familiar. Such closeness and familiarity make it easier for us to perceive the imaginary story to be a real one. In other circumstances, such as when violence is shown on TV, the closeness variable is used to reduce emotional intensity. Television entertainment tends to place social problems involving violence in another time and place, letting us watch those fictionalized characters search for solutions to our problems in settings safely distanced from our own. When violence occurs in a contemporary setting, it is generally the product of the interaction of police and criminals, or again, it is removed from the lives of good citizenry. Gaining an audience for your writing involves not just finding a voice but ensuring that voice resonates with your intended readers. Entrepreneurs understand the importance of building a brand that makes them memorable and distinct from their competitors, drawing customers to their products or services. They achieve this by pinpointing their target audience, crafting a unique value proposition, and shaping a recognizable identity. While scholars might initially find these entrepreneurial concepts alien, they actually engage in similar practices when they set themselves apart in their academic writing. Consider the typical literature review and motivation section of a scholarly article. The aim is to highlight gaps in existing research and position oneself as the one who will address these overlooked areas. The challenge, as Laborie suggests, is not just in developing innovative ideas but in cultivating a distinctive voice that makes readers think, this sounds like the author. It's about balancing the expression of your ideas with the development of a unique voice that leaves a temporary impression on your audience. A genuine glacier must be permanent. Generally, this implies that sufficient fresh snow must accumulate during the cold months to offset melting during the summer, although on a year-to-year basis, glaciers may expand or contract, depending on local and global climatic conditions. Today, most glaciers around the world are melting because of the warming climate, and it appears that the rate of melting is accelerating. This has been documented spectacularly in places such as the Alps, where historical records have been kept and dated sketches and photographs are available to compare with the present extent of ice. Even over periods as short as a few decades, satellite images show that dramatic reduction of mountain glaciers has occurred in the Andes, the Himalayas, and elsewhere. The various rocks and minerals contained in glaciers have become a popular subject of science projects in schools. It is estimated that many small mountain glaciers will disappear completely within 10 to 20 years unless there is a sudden and unexpected change in the present warming trend. A serious deterioration in people's working lives would be deeply disturbing to the social order. Indeed, few consequences of technological change would be as dangerous. Today, the world of work is the main way that we share out the fruits of growth. For most people, their job is their main, if not their only, source of income. Technological unemployment would weaken that long-standing arrangement, encouraging an even more extreme version of inequality in which some people receive more income than others and many receive nothing at all. Nor would the disturbance be only economic. For many people, their work is both a source of income and of meaning. And with that in mind, the threat is even broader, not only that the labor market might be hollowed out, leaving some unable to find a good job and a reliable income, but that this sense of fulfillment that some people are fortunate to feel in their jobs might be hollowed out as well, leaving them unable to find purpose and live a satisfying life. By creating unemployment, technology would upset the social order, affecting the A of wealth and possibly eliminating the emotional B that some discover in work. If we take an evolutionary look at our beginnings, we see a life in which high levels of physical activity were required for survival. There are fewer manual jobs, we do not need to travel on foot, we do not need to hunt and harvest for our food, and many domestic chores have been mechanized. While these changes have created many benefits for our longevity and quality of life, they have also created many problems. Lack of sufficient physical activity has now been linked to at least 17 unhealthy conditions, almost all of which are chronic diseases or considered risk factors for chronic diseases. Adrienne Hardman has summarized this serious situation for public health. Physical inactivity is a waste of human potential for health and well-being. Even 1 century ago, most people needed to be physically active to work, to travel, and to take care of homes and families. Our modern world has engineered such activity out of our lives. A good example of chaos is the magnetic pendulum sold as an executive toy. It has 4 magnets arranged in a square at the base and a pendulum that swings back and forth between them. In order to produce chaos, the iteration has to be within what is called a nonlinear system. Nor are all nonlinear systems chaotic. To become so, they need to be pushed beyond a certain point, called a bifurcation. Before that point is reached, they may behave in a quite orderly fashion. Release the pendulum and note the magnets that it visits, and in what order. If the pendulum is released from the same position a second time, the pattern of movement may at first be the same, but soon it will become completely different. In fact, the pattern of its movement is chaotic. No matter how much care is taken to start the pendulum in the same position, it will visit an entirely different set of points on the 2 occasions. Chaotic systems are generated by iteration, though not all iteration leads to chaos. But cute and beautiful designs also have downsides. Research finds that people show a strong visceral interest in and desire to approach and own cute-looking and beautiful, elegant designs. However, cute and beautiful designs elicit 2 very different motivations. A cute product or package design elicits a nurturing motivation or a desire to take care of and keep the product, to hold it dear to our hearts and never let it go. The beautiful product or package design elicits a self-expressive, or signaling, motivation or a desire to express oneself to others through product ownership. Certain types of cute products can be associated with a lack of sophistication or seriousness, which can reduce performance expectations, lowering perceived enablement benefits. Beautiful-looking designs may not attract attention over time because people become desensitized to them. They might be sitting still as they imagine all of this, walking back and forth along their path, but they are reliving, at least in their imagination, the movement of their feet. Researchers are studying how our everyday physical experiences in the world contribute to our understanding of mathematical concepts. The experience of walking along a path, for example, can be a metaphor for thinking about arithmetic. The path starts at some point 0, and as children walk along, every step takes them 1 unit further from the starting point. They can even take half steps or skip along 2 steps at a time. If they want to imagine what it might mean to add 5 and 9, they could think of first walking 9 steps and then walking 5 more. But that also helps them think about what 143 might mean, because they can imagine walking backwards. If they close their eyes, they might even imagine the shape of the path, the smell of the trees, and the sound that is made when they step on the dried leaves. The human psychology and education communities, as well as some animal researchers, have been against referring to teaching when describing social learning in animals, mainly because teaching implies a level of on the part of the model that is difficult to measure in animals. Nonetheless, there has been a movement within the animal cognition community to say that animals can, in fact, teach one another. For example, skilled ants engage in a behavior called tandem running, in which they touch their bodies to the body of a novice ant as they lay down chemical trails, presumably to assist the newcomer with route learning. Killer whales also repeat the same seal hunting technique in front of their offspring, sometimes without even killing the seal, leading researchers to ask why they would repeatedly catch and release a seal if they were not planning to eat it. Considering the amount of energy they'd have to expend, there would need to be a good reason, and that reason might be teaching. 1. Comfort. 2. Courage. 3. Frustration. 4. Inventiveness. 5. Intentionality. Writers often give us the impression that they have described the faces of their characters, when in fact they have simply given you an outline to fill in. Of Esh, the most important character in Hermann Brock's masterpiece The Sleepwalkers, we learn only that he has big teeth. Even so, we don't feel as if his face is a dentate blankness. Most often, we mistake being told what effect someone's appearance has for an account of that appearance. The poet Mallarmé's advice a peindre non la chose, mais l'effet tu el produit, paint not the thing itself but the effect it produces, sounds like a self-denying ordinance. Actually, it is a rather clever way out of an intractable problem. When, in one of his novels, Evelyn Waugh says of a new character, that he had just the kind of appearance one would expect a young man of his type to have, and nothing else, you still feel as if you 1. Have been told exactly what he looks like, 2. Have become a member of his social group, 3. Already know what will happen to him in the story, 4. Have been given precise details about his behavior, 5. Recognize the core characteristics of his personality. When we narrow, we're redirecting all of our computing power to the handful of processes that matter. It's as if to help with our slow Wi-Fi, we disconnect our phone and tablet, just so that our video conference call won't lag. Narrowing also helps with goal attainment. It cuts out all of the other distractions and places the most important goal front and center. When we home in, we increase motivational intensity, reinforcing that what's in front of us is what we should be after.
제3교시 종료 10분 전입니다.
For a brief moment, the trade-off can be worthwhile, but when we start to miss cues and signals. We get locked in on one path without being able to step back and see a better route. When we're stuck narrowed in for too long, accidents go up and performance drops. We miss hearing alarms that signal there's a problem elsewhere. 1. Get distracted by too many sources. 2. Rely too heavily on digital devices. 3. Randomly switch between tasks. 4. Remain zoomed in for too long. 5. Fail to control our feelings. One word is inextricably associated with geography, where. That is because geography starts from the premise that it matters where something takes place on Earth's surface. The key questions are not simply where questions, though, they are why there and so what questions. Getting to such questions means taking spatial arrangements, variations, and interconnections seriously. Engaging in even the simplest day-to-day activity requires some appreciation of spatial circumstances or where to find food and services, how to get to workplaces, and the like. Moving up in scale, without some awareness of. It is difficult to make reasoned business or policy judgments, make sense of events, or grasp some of the basic forces shaping life on the planet. Locating a new store or public service requires taking into consideration population distributions, the location of roads and utilities, socioeconomic patterns, and more. Understanding why and where migration happens requires consideration of the political organization of territory, the spatial consequences of discrimination, socioeconomic patterns, and the layout of the physical environment. 1. Why cross-cultural conflicts will increase. 2. How phenomena are arranged on Earth's surface. 3. When the Earth's natural resources will be exhausted. 4. Which places on Earth are damaged by climate change. 5. Who has the authority to make decisions about territories.
제3교시 종료령입니다. 수험생은 필기도구를 놓고 답안지는 뒤집어서 오른쪽에, 문제지는 표지를 덮어서 왼쪽에 각각 놓고 조용히 기다리십시오. 제2감독관께서는 문제지와 답안지를 수험 번호 순으로 회수하여 주시고 수량을 확인하여 주십시오.